Hello students, after studying this lecture, you will be able to understand the importance of communication, channels of communication, types and process of communication, conflict, coordination, coordination as essence of management, the principles of coordination, techniques, objective of coordination, obstacles in coordination, essential of effective coordination. The word communication is derived from the Latin word communicare, that means to impart, to participate, to share or to make common. It is a process of exchange of facts, ideas and opinions, and as a means that individual or organizations share meaning and understanding with one another. In other words, it is a transmission and interacting the facts, ideas, opinion, feeling and attitudes. It is the ability of mankind to communicate across barriers and beyond boundaries that has ushered the progress of mankind. It is the ability of fostering speedy and effective communication around the world that has shrunk the world and made globalization a reality. Coordination is the unification, integration, synchronization of the efforts of group members so as to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common goals. It is a hidden force which binds all the other functions of management. Coordination is orderly arrangement of group efforts to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common goals. According to Charles Worth, coordination is the integration of several parts into an orderly whole to achieve the purpose of understanding. Management seeks to achieve coordination through its basic functions of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. That is why coordination is not a separate function of management, because achieving of harmony between individuals' efforts towards achievement of group goals is a key to success of management. Coordination is the essence of management and is implicit and inherent in all functions of management. A manager can be compared to an orchestra conductor, since both of them have to create rhythm and unity in the activities of group members. Significance of communication. Communication is a process of interaction with people and environment. The dissemination of information, the transfer of ideas, the exchange of information. Two or more individuals interact and influence the ideas, beliefs, and attitudes of each other. They can exchange information through words, gestures, signs and symbols, expressions, etc. Today, language in its developed form is the most competent means of communication, but it is not the only one. We make use of other means too for effective transmission of information. Communication is a continuous process of giving and receiving information, of building up social relationships. We make use of speech, writing, printed and pictorial matter, gestures and expressions, and also of technical media like telegraphy, radio, television, computer, etc. for communication. Let us define communication. It can be defined as a process by which two or more people exchange ideas, facts, feelings or impressions in ways that each gains a common understanding of the message. Elements of communication. The 5 elements of the process of communication can be presented graphically. Sender, message, method, receiver, response of receiver. Communication is a two-way process. It involves a sender and receiver. The sender or receiver can be an individual or a group. There has to be a message. The message can be information, a directive, an inquiry, a feeling, an opinion, an idea, or any other. Commonness of understanding. Communication can occur only when there is commonness of understanding between the sender and the receiver. The commonness includes factors like common culture, common language, and common environment. Words, phrases, idioms, proverbs, gestures, and expressions are deeply colorized and possess high communicative potential for people from similar background. Modifying the behavior of other individuals. The information transmitted to the receiver evokes a response in the form of some change in his behavior. For example, the information received at the information center of NIOS satisfied our curiosity and encouraged to take admission. Method of giving information. Information can be given through words or through other means like signs, gestures, expressions, etc. Communication process. The communication process involves a sender or communication source, the subject matter of communication, expression used for communicating, encoding, the medium of communication, receiver or receivers of the communication, and the interpretation thereof, decoding and feedback. Sender, message, encoding. Decoder, receiver, medium, feedback. Significance of communication in business. The significance of any business lies as much in networking and building sound professional relationships as it does in individual tact and business acumen. Communication is a crucial, decisive factor in business relations. It is very important to say the right thing at the right time and at the right place when dealing with partners, customers, stakeholders, media, and sometimes even competitors. Any miscommunication or ambiguity can pour pails of cold water on our hard work and ruin our chances of survival in today's competitive business environment. Significance of communication in the workplace. The most difficult part of running an organization is managing the human resources. This is one resource which does not work on any principle of management, economics, psychology, or any other social science. This is the most random and volatile resource which must be managed with great dexterity to reach desired organizational goals. Communication is that lubricant which keeps this resource moving throughout the organizational machinery. Significance of communication in leadership. A leader is expected to represent his or her followers and motivate them to reach heights of success through individual and collective effort. Communication is the best equipment a leader can employ to achieve this goal. Even ideals resting upon strong principles can fall flat and fail to motivate due to lack of effective communication skills. History is galore with examples of many national leaders who have moved the masses by their life-changing speeches and powerful writings. Working of a communication channel. Through a modem of communication, be it face-to-face conversation or an inter-department memo, information is transmitted from a manager to a subordinate or vice versa. An important element of the communication process is the feedback mechanism between the management and employees. In this mechanism, employees inform managers that they have understood the task at hand, while managers provide employees with comments and directions on employees' work. Types of communication channels. Formal communication channels. Formal communication is organized and managed information that is shared with relevant individuals in order to secure coordinated action throughout the organization. Formal communication channels are based on an individual's role in the organization and distributed in an organized way according to the established chain in organizational charts. Formal communication flows downward from executives to directors to managers to staff regarding company direction and instruction, and upward from staff to managers to directors to executives in the form of data and reports. A formal communication channel transmits information such as the goals, policies, and procedures of an organization. A business plan, customer satisfaction survey, annual reports, employers' manual, review meetings are all formal communication channels. Types of communication channels. Informal communication channels. Informal communication in the workplace satisfies a variety of needs, particularly social and emotional, and is not based on the positions individuals occupy within the organizations. As a result, the communication is not managed or planned in any organized fashion. It is more relaxed, casual, and tends to be spread by word of mouth quickly throughout a department or organization because it is not restricted to approvals and an established path of distribution. Supplying sufficient information through the formal communication channel about the concerns that are of significance to employees and staff. Present as much factual information as possible as soon as it is obtained. Open the lines of the formal communication channels to receive feedback and concerns. Respond to these as quickly as possible. Types of communication channels. Unofficial communication channels. Good managers will recognize the fact that sometimes communications that take place within an organization is interpersonal. While minutes of a meeting may be a topic of discussion among employees, sports, politics, and TV shows also share the flow. The unofficial communication channel in an organization is the organization's grapevine. It is through the grapevine that rumors circulate. Also, those engaging in grapevine discussions often form groups which translate into friendships outside of the organization. While the grapevine may have positive implications, more often than not, information circulating in the grapevine is exaggerated and may cause unnecessary alarm to employees. A good manager should be privy to information circulating in this unofficial communication channel and should take positive measures to prevent the flow of false information. Process of communication and types. Communication process. Sender or transmitter. The person who desires to convey the message is known as sender. Sender initiates the message and changes the behavior of the receiver. Message. It is a subject matter of any communication. It may involve any fact, idea, opinion, or information. Encoding. The communicator of the information organizes his idea into series of symbols, words, signs, etc., which he feels will communicate to the intended receiver or receivers. Communication channel. The sender has to select the channel for sending the information. Communication channel is the media through which the message passes. Receiver. The person who receives the message is called receiver, or receiver is the person to whom the particular message is sent by the transmitter. Decoding. Decoding is the process of interpretation of an encoded message into the understandable meaning. Decoding helps the receiver to derive the meaning from the message. Feedback. Communication is an exchange process. Brain drain. On whole process, there is a possibility of misunderstandings at any level and is called brain drain. It may arise on the sender side if they do not choose the adequate medium for delivery of message by using default channel, and it may also arise when receiver does not properly decode the message. Process of communication and types. Verbal communication. The basis of communication is the interaction between people. Verbal communication is one way for people to communicate face to face. Some of the key components of verbal communication are sound, words, speaking, and language. As meaning is assigned to words, language develops, which leads to the development of speaking. Interpersonal speaking. Verbal communication is an essential part of business, and when it is executed correctly, good things happen. Speaking is such an indelible activity. We tend to do it without much thought, but that casual approach can be a problem in business. Hierarchical communication. People communicate in businesses with each other most often by oral communication. This talking takes place between managers, co-workers and subordinates alike. Why it is important to understand all the concept of communication? Communication from a manager to a subordinate is also different. One reason for this may be because of the arising concern by managers not to offend their workers or say the wrong thing. Etiquette, competitive business environment, social skills and proper etiquette can mean the difference between finding and winning the job of our career and standing still in our career. The key to proper business etiquette is do unto others as they would want to do unto them. The most important point about introduction is to always make them, even if we cannot remember names. Failing to do so causes embarrassment and discomfort. A second important point in any introduction is the order of names. Public speaking. The first step in making a speech is choosing a topic. The second step is to define the purpose of our speech. The third step is to get to know our audience. The fourth step is to gather information for our speech. The fifth step is to organize our speech. Start by identifying the main points we want to make and then put them in an order that makes sense to our topic. The sixth step is adding an introduction to our speech. The introduction is aimed at getting the attention of our audience. The seventh step is adding a conclusion to our speech.
Hi, I'm Jacob Taxis for About.com. In this video, you will learn 8 types of nonverbal communication. This is information from About.com's psychology site. Number 1. Facial expression. Facial expression is one type of nonverbal communication that is nearly universal in meaning. Though different cultures generally ascribe different meanings to various types of nonverbal communication, the meanings attributed to certain facial expressions like the smile or the frown remain quite similar throughout the world. For example, a downcast look in New York will be a downcast look in Moscow. A smile in Belize will signal happiness or joy just as it would in Barcelona. Number 2. Gestures. Hand gestures are a vitally important type of nonverbal communication that take on various meanings as you navigate the world's cultures. One might immediately think of waving, giving a peace sign, or a thumbs up. One might see a raised index finger to signal that a person's team is number one. Politicians will use specially designed gestures to emphasize points. Number 3. Paralinguistics. Paralinguistics simply means a type of vocal communication without the use of language. This includes voice inflection, pitch, rhythm, loudness, and tone. A slow rhythm and hushed tone might signify gentleness or concern, while heavy pitch and rising inflection might be attributed to anger or enthusiasm. Number 4. Body language. Though body language and posture can be quite subtle, they can have an enormous impact on communication. Crossed arms might signify a closed-off or defensive attitude. Slumped shoulders and excessive leaning might signify boredom. Again, these cues are subtle but powerful. Number 5. Proxemics. Proxemics refers to personal space. Different individuals prefer different distances when it comes to speaking with others. Obviously, standing too close to someone while she or he is talking might bring about feelings of discomfort or annoyance. When speaking to groups, individuals tend to need larger distances in order to feel heard. Number 6. Eye gaze. Eye gazing is a fascinating type of nonverbal communication. For example, the rate of blinking might actually increase and the pupils dilate when friends or loved ones are encountered. This goes for interesting objects as well. The eyes react very differently to outside stimulus depending on personal interpretation. Number 7. Haptics. Haptics simply refers to communicating through touch. Touching is used to signify love, affection, and familiarity. It might also be employed in times of stress or sadness when comfort is needed. The force of a handshake might signify extra enthusiasm between close friends, while a firm, standard grip might be more appropriate for a professional introduction. Number 8. Appearance. Appearance is a very important type of nonverbal communication. Physical appearance, including clothing style and neatness, is the first thing people see when encountering one another. Studies in the area of color psychology suggest that the colors of clothing can have big effects on mood and attitude. People make quick judgments of character according to dress and appearance. Thank you for watching. For more, visit about.com.
Definition of conflict. Conflict in itself is neither good nor bad. The key is how we understand and respond to conflict. The participants in a conflict establish the meaning of conflict, with the ultimate results being determined by the feelings, beliefs, and values of those involved. Conflict is a state of unresolved differences within an individual, between individuals, an individual and a group, or two or more groups. Conflict of some kind will occur throughout our career. Conflict is based on caring. Each of the parties involved in the difficulty desires something. Usually those involved are frustrated because they cannot get something they believe they need, or cannot give something they believe they should be able to give. A conflict exists when two people wish to carry out acts which are mutually inconsistent. A conflict is resolved when some mutually compatible set of actions is worked out. The definition of conflict can be extended from individuals to groups, and more than two parties can be involved in the conflict. The principles remain the same. Conflict means different things to different people. For some, a definition of conflict involves fighting, war, and trade embargoes, and so on. For others, it may be a difference in opinion, perspective, or personality. Definition of conflict. Role conflict. Conflict generated around an employee's role is very common. Too often, employees are put in a new role and left to sink or swim. Eager to make a good impression, they may be reluctant to ask questions. Over time, their manager is often disappointed when mistakes occur or work is not done. They may even feel they have chosen the wrong person for the job. The employee can quickly become disillusioned and frustrated. Avoid making the assumption that the employee thinks the same way as you do. What might feel straightforward, the employee could regard as complex. Giving the employees the attention they need will minimize the chance of role conflict in the long term. Definition of conflict. Team conflict. Managing conflict in teams can be challenging as a number of people are involved. Again, destructive conflict can be minimized by investing time in the early stages. Clarify. How are you going to use the individual strengths in the team? How are you going to divide out the tasks and measure success? What are the ground rules on how the team will work together and communicate? In the early stages of teamwork, conflict is unavoidable as team members are unsure of their role. As a manager can help them move through this storming stage quickly. When the team becomes established, constructive conflict is healthy once the views of all team members are listened to with respect. Definition of conflict. Managing conflict. Structural changes. Conflict between groups is common in organizations, often caused by task interdependence and differences in goals and perceptions. Predictable changes are known to occur within each group and between groups. There is less communication between groups that is aimed at resolving the conflict and less accurate perceptions of the other group. Reward system. When conflict is caused by competition for a limited pool of rewards, the rewards available can be expanded so that all who qualify for a reward are able to obtain it. Reward systems can be designed to reward group effort and achievement rather than at the individual level in order to encourage cooperation between group members. Individual knowledge and skills. When conflict occurs because members of the organization have different backgrounds, different values, because of different socialization experiences or different time spans of feedback from their work, Exposure to these differences by cross-training or job rotation can help to reduce the conflict. Assertiveness. Assertive behavior is direct speaking about our needs, feelings, and goals. It tells the other party what we feel and what we want without being aggressive or hurtful. Likewise, assertiveness is not self-sacrifice, denial, and the avoidance of the conflict situation. Definition of coordination. Coordination is the unification, integration, synchronization of the efforts of group members so as to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common goals. It is a hidden force which binds all the other functions of management. Coordination is orderly arrangement of group efforts to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common goals. According to Charles Worth, coordination is the integration of several parts into an orderly whole to achieve the purpose of understanding. Management seeks to achieve coordination through its basic functions of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Coordination is the essence of management and is implicit and inherent in all functions of management. A manager can be compared to an orchestra conductor since both of them have to create rhythm and unity in the activities of group members. Definition of coordination. Managerial functions. Coordination through planning. Facilitates coordination by integrating the various plans through mutual discussion, exchange of ideas, coordination between finance, budget, and purchases budget. Coordination through organizing. Mooney considers coordination as the very essence of organizing. In fact, when a manager groups and assigns various activities to subordinates, and when he creates departments coordination uppermost in his mind. Coordination through staffing. A manager should bear in mind that the right number of personnel in various positions with right type of education and skills are taken, which will ensure right men on the right job. Coordination through directing. The purpose of giving orders, instructions, and guidance to the subordinates is served only when there is a harmony between superiors and subordinates. Coordination through controlling. Manager ensures that there should be coordination between actual performance and standard performance to achieve organizational goals. Coordination as essence of management. Division of labor. Coordination ensures proper synchronization between activities of different units, avoids interruptions in operations due to reasons such as delay in the supply of materials, tools, or vague directions or omissions, or wrong allocations of duties, and eliminates overlapping or duplication of work. Interdependence of units. The need of coordination in an organization also arises because of the interdependence of various units. The greater the interdependence of the units, the greater the need for coordination. This is illustrated by James Thomson's typology of interdependence. Thomson points out that unit can be linked in any of the three ways. Pooled interdependence. Units linked by pooled interdependence make contributions to the total organization but are not directly related. Hindustan Xylix smelter plants in Udaipur and Vishakhapatnam both contribute to the company's profits, but they are not directly interrelated. The need for coordination between them is minimal. All product-based departmentalizations where there are separate, self-contained units for the manufacturing and marketing of each product are examples of pooled interdependence. Sequential interdependence. In this kind of linkage, one organizational unit must act before the next can. For example, in a beer company, its distribution unit will have nothing to distribute until the beer has been brewed and bottled. Greater coordination is necessary in sequential than in pooled interdependence, though here also the dependence of units can be reduced by creating buffer inventories. Reciprocal interdependence. In this relationship, the input of one unit becomes the output of the other and vice versa. The close interrelationship leads to the strongest need for coordination between maintenance and operations. Individual interests versus organizational interests. The need for coordination is also felt to integrate the activities and objectives of the separate units of an organization in order to efficiently achieve organizational goals. Without coordination, individuals and departments would begin to pursue their own specialized interests, often at the expense of the larger organizational goals. Coordination reconciles differences in approach, effort, or interest of various departments by avoiding inconsistencies in their priorities, objectives, and policies. Principles of coordination. Coordination is a person-centered, assessment-based, interdisciplinary approach to integrating principle of management, support services in which an individual's needs and goals are assessed, and a core plan developed to address those needs and goals. Services are managed and monitored by a trained care coordinator or interdisciplinary team according to established standards. Efficiency and effectiveness. Coordination helps to improve the efficiency of operations by avoiding overlapping efforts and duplication of work. Quality of coordination determines the effectiveness of organized efforts. Unity of direction. Coordination helps to ensure unity of action in the face of disruptive forces. It helps unity of action and helps to avoid conflicts between line and staff elements. Human relation. Coordination helps to improve team spirit and morale of employees. In a well-coordinated organization, organizational goals and personal goals of people are reconciled. Quintessence of management. Coordination is all-inclusive concepts and the end result of management process. Coordination helps in the accomplishment of organizational goals. Principles of coordination. Techniques, objectives of coordination. Coordinating involves the development of units of purpose and the harmonious implementation of plans for the achievement of desired results. Early start. There should be mutual consultation among the concerned official while preparing the plan itself. Direct contact. Direct personal contact among the people concerned. Continuity. Coordination is the basis of an organization structure as long as the enterprise continues to function. Dynamism. Achievement of coordination itself modifies the strength of the contending forces and will create new conditions. Simplified organization. Principle which facilitates effective coordination is the simplified organization structure. Clear-cut objectives. Another requisite for securing effective coordination in an enterprise is clear-cut objective. Effective communication. Through communication, individual and department differences can be resolved. Effective leadership. By effective leadership, coordination of the activities of the people at all stages is ensured, creates confidence in the subordinates and enhances their morale. Effective supervision. Effective supervision is required in coordination because supervisor can easily detect the deviation from planned course of action and immediate corrective steps may be taken. Principles of coordination. Obstacles in coordination. Coordination problems reflect a child's experience of his or her body in space. Body language stays with us for the remainder of our lives. The most advanced level of movement is the ability to stay totally still. To remain still requires whole muscle groups to operate together in perfect synchrony with the balance mechanism. Movement and language are linked in the early stages of language development. Movement helps to develop spatial awareness, directionality, and control of balance. The balance mechanism is linked to the muscles that control eye movements via a circuit called the vestibular ocular reflex arc. Crawling represents a crucial stage in the integration of motor patterns, for in the process of crawling, the infant learns to synchronize this balance, motor, kinetic, and visual systems for the first time.